Check, 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 check. Oh, what's up, everybody? Just want to check the sounds on this. Make sure you guys can hear me before. Oh, there's Lou. I want to make sure. Hey, what's up, Lou?
Hey, can you hear me okay? Are you able to hear
Lou?
me?
Check, check.
Can you hear me?
Check 1, 2.
Are you able to hear me?
I can't hear you on this. I don't know why.
Can you hear me?
Check 1, 2. I'm trying to hear you on my computer. But I'm not able to hear you. Hold on.
Oh, we have that delay going on again.
Check, check. Try talking now.
Okay, testing. Can you hear? Hello? Okay, testing. Can you hear?
Check, check. Hold on.
Yeah, there's definitely a delay.
Yeah, I don't hear you on my mic. I don't know why. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Jessica, what are you doing? Come here. Come here. What you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna disconnect this.
Oh. Go down.
All right, try talking now.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. All right, let's. We are good to go.
Oh, okay. There's no delay?
There's no delay.
All right, that's good, because that last week it was crazy because we were talking over each other so much and it was totally not intentional.
I know, it was horrible. Hold on 1 second. All right, let me get this.
Jasper, you can't rock me. Can you go from the window, maybe?
Edit turn. All right. So now I was setting up all my audio equipment, but it doesn't seem to work. I guess I got to download some stuff, but whatever. How you doing? So I got to try to get your screen up.
Well,
hold on.
Yeah, I did something a little bit different. I managed to get me and my iPad on one screen.
Got it. Right
So
there.
I didn't know if that was going to be helpful, because the last time I had my camera and then I had the presentation, and you could only do, you said it was only either one or the other and you'd have to keep changing. So
Yeah.
I managed to find a way of putting two of them together and then getting that to kind of feed through to to StreamYard. So it's kind of like a virtual camera that I'm using that I made. So I feel quite proud of myself that I got quite technical over the last hour because I was not sure how I was going to do it. So yeah, I managed to find a way, and I was hoping it was going to work because I was thinking, okay, if it doesn't, I can still do the camera over the iPad, but it's really awkward because you have to like look around the thing, and I have difficulty anyway with like I have to be a certain distance away from the iPad.
Right.
So if the camera really gets in the way for that. So this is much better to be able to have this, and plus I think people can see it better.
Yeah, and I'm glad that I'm working off of my Cintiq now because my line weight and my line was so choppy on the other tablet because I couldn't adjust the pen live. I didn't want to do it live, and so now I actually can get what I need to get to because like when I why is my pen not working? Now my pen's not working. Huh. Let's see. Oh, there it is.
Jasper,
Cool.
come on. No.
There.
Keep moving. I've got a kitten here that is insisting on being part of the show. No, come on. Come on. Get your face off the camera. Come on.
Hi, kitty.
I don't. Oh, no. You can't chew that. Give me a second. I think I might have to get him out of the room because he's in like the mode of wire chewing at the moment. Give me a moment to get him out of the room.
No worries.
Oh, Jasper kitty, come on. Or you can maybe come back in later. But for now, you need to be there. Let me get your big brother. He can hang out with you. Jingles, I'm sorry, but you gotta go, dude. Oh, yeah, you're the big boy. Oh, you're the big boy. You go out too. You go look after Jasper. To behave yourselves. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. I thought I was going to be able to have him in here, but he's on a mission for mischief, and it's just not going to work out.
Yeah, no worries. So when we were alive on Catch the Craze, you sparked an idea in me because you talked about how much fun the trivia was with Duty.
Oh, yeah.
So what I did was I'm going to send out to everybody who signed up for the Kickstarter trivia, and basically every Friday and Monday leading up to the launch, I'm going to send another trivia that they have to decode, a question that they have to decode. And you only get one chance to ask. You only get one chance to ask for a clue, but the first 15 that get all right will get access to a secret reward when we launch. That's limited to 20. So the first 15 that solve it will be invited to get it. And then live, I'm going to do another trivia during the live launch. And then the first 5 that get all of them right during the live launch will get that access to the secret reward.
Oh, that'll be fun because I remember it being fun when we were doing the like I said when I first discovered Catch the Craze and Duty and everything. You were doing a launch around that time, and we were all in the chat doing these quizzes, and I was like, I'm kind of clueless because I'm just jumped on with this, and
right.
I think there was one of the questions. It still cracks me up because I didn't know. I mean, I had no idea. It was something about what did Duty fall asleep on, and I just put the job. I was like, well, yeah, at least I'm trying, yeah. But it was just so funny, and I think if you do something like that, and even if there's some of the wrong answers coming out, it really is funny, and it definitely makes people want to kind of check in again because it kept me coming back.
Yeah, it was funny because I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Because I'm trying to attract like fantasy lovers and gamers as well to the Forbidden Lore. And I was like, I know people love trivia. And then when we were talking on live on Catch the Craze, I was like, you know what? That's what I'm missing. I need to create some excitement around this. And if I can get, and I'll throw up a question each every Mondays and Fridays. So there's 7 questions before we launch. So it's 7 days after 7. You know,
Right.
so it's and then hopefully it gets enough excitement where people are like, you know what, we got to solve this. So they're going to get a summary. Then they have to decode the 7 questions, and you only get one chance to ask for a clue by DMing me for the clue. So I'm trying to make it interactive.
And that's a really good idea, because other ones that I've seen, like Kickstarter campaigns, or even just in general, just people who follow a particular creative for what they do, the most interaction tends to be when questions are asked. A good example I would say would be Laurie Calcaterra for her Path of the Pale Rider.
Right.
She does a lot of things for her followers to get involved with, and she does a lot of secret rewards, things like that. So
yeah, she's really good.
that yeah. And did she did I don't know if you know that the one she did a secret reward on this last one, and she just revealed it this week, and it's a you know how she had the Pikachu onesie when she was smashing fruit. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but that's part of her campaigns where everyone picks which fruit she's going to smash and what she's going to smash it with. I think she calls it the slice and dice. She had a Pikachu suit. Well, that's getting retired, and she got a new suit, and it's a bear costume, which is going to be turned into a Big James, which is a character which kind of like became a huge character from her book. And it just kind of took off because everyone just got obsessed with Big James. And she's now got a new suit that she's going to kind of make it into kind of a zombie bear. And she's also got 2 additional ones where she's going to totally zombify those. And then that's part of the secret reward. Like that's the secret reward prize that people got on her Kickstarter. So she's done that. And that to me is like so creative, because I don't know many people who actually go out of the way like that. So I think if you're able to do things where you can pull in your audience and get them involved and actually create kind of like a little sideline of things that doesn't actually, you don't have to keep putting your money in your pocket, you don't have to keep putting your hand in your wallet, pulling money out and saying, oh, well, I'll buy this, buy that. If you can just be involved along the way, it does keep people around just because it's fun. And especially if the fun doesn't cost anything, it keeps your audience engaged, and it lets them know that you're still there, even when you're not actually selling anything at that point. You got to keep them interested in what you're doing.
Yes, 100%. And I think that's my. I was listening to a podcast on Kickstarters, and they were talking about the importance of doing things like this, like trivia and getting people excited, and and I did it with Duty, but then I never even considered doing it with Forbidden, and I was like, all right, you know what, I'm going to do it, and because I was trying to figure out how to, because we're up to 56 right now following, and I'm trying to get to 100 before we launch. And I was like, what's the best way to get to 100? And let's see.
I would definitely start going more interactive on your pages, wherever you're promoting it. I think that's definitely the way to go.
Yeah. I gotta switch this up. So I'm trying to figure out how to share the reel. No, that was 2 days ago. I'm trying to figure out how to share out my thing, but it's not letting me.
Are you talking about playing the reel through on this on StreamYard?
No, I was on Facebook. Normally, I don't go live on like my Vera Samuel page. I usually go live on the Catch the Craze page, but I'm live right now on Vera Samuel, and so I was trying to figure out. I'm on that page. I was trying to share it out, but it won't let me share it out. It doesn't give me that option. It only gives me if I was on another page. But
so were you trying to get it to play on here?
No. I was just trying to on Facebook just share it out to everybody, but it's not letting me for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it isn't giving me the option, but that's fine. I shared it on Twitter and on Blue Sky.
I end up sharing stuff in places I didn't even realize I was sharing. I've got stuff connected up, and then someone will like something, and I'll think, what are they liking? What did I do? And then I realize that I've had something linked up to share it automatically, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, thanks for that. But I had no idea I had it connected up like that.
Yeah.
The one thing that I was considering not actually bothering with anymore was my Facebook art page, because it just seems to be so stagnant. I honestly don't know if it's just my fault it's like that, or whether it's just one of those things that just kind of just went dead in the water and it's just beyond all kind of salvage. There's nothing to pull from it anymore. I just don't know. But things automatically share to it, but it doesn't really get much traffic.
No, the problem is I don't think it's what you're doing. I mean, well, the problem with any social media feed is if you're not active on it every day, you're not going to have the algorithm work for you. That's why, like William Russell, he's active all the time, so he gets a lot of traction.
Oh, he goes live all the time on
Yes, all the time, every day. I mean, the guy doesn't get tired, and so because he uses it every day, I mean that's why his Kickstarters are so successful. I think the last time I checked, he was over $10,000. So he's learned the formula because he is a working artist. So this is what he does full time. And so he's able to do that. Lori Calcaterra is able to build that fan base because she does this all day. She's on everybody's podcast. She's streaming all the time. I hate that right there. They're able to build that momentum and cultivate that audience. I got to erase this here. I'm smoothing out my lines, and cultivate that audience. And that was what was giving me all of the subscribers when I was doing the live drawings every day when I first moved to Texas. And then when I started working, it all stopped. So the algorithms will only work as long as you're working all the time, and it's just not feasible for me.
Well, you'd think, right, I should have time to do that, and I'm trying to get time to do that, but I'm dealing with like so many headaches and like migraine after migraine after migraine is just like, I mean, I don't even know where to begin. It's depressing, and it's like it takes having it's gonna sound ridiculous, but having migraines takes up so much of my time that when it's done, when they're kind of over and done with, I'm just sitting there stunned thinking, well, right, now what do I need to catch up on? And it's really frustrating because I don't feel like I can be consistent. I don't feel like I can be there all the time. I can't be the person who's the regular time slot right now, and that's frustrating. So I'm trying to work out how I can work around that. I've got to accommodate this ridiculous amount of headaches. And I don't even know how to begin to get rid of them because they're very strange and they've just kind of gotten worse and different over the last couple of years. And everything that I read about them and hear about them, you've got to put an awful lot into getting rid of them.
Right.
And it's not necessarily going to work. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I've got to do something. Got to do something soon.
Yeah. I mean,
Because I want my time back. I want my life back.
yeah. I mean, I feel your pain. I mean, there was a time when I was a teenager. I would get these excruciating migraines, and I would lose sight of my eyes. My eyes would go completely blank. And I went and I had CAT scans and eye exam. They could never figure it out, and then they prescribed me like sun protection glasses and all that, but nothing ever worked. And then when I got older, I mean, the migraines went away, but then what would happen is when I was under high stress conditions, I start losing my sight on my left eye. Then I would start, it would move towards my right eye. Then the migraine would kick in. Then I would throw up. So my body was reacting to high stress situations, but they still couldn't figure it out. So I just stopped going to try to get an answer because no one could give me an answer.
Well, that's kind of where I've been at. They'll say, oh, well, it's because of this particular thing. And then I'll go along with that particular, remedy for the particular thing. And then I'm still dealing with it. There was one time when I was a kid, I was told that I was getting migraines because I ate chocolate. So I stopped eating chocolate for about 2 years, to the point where I actually forgot what chocolate tasted like. And I still got migraine. And it was just like, what is the point? Like, I might as well just have the chocolate. I'm a kid, give me the chocolate. So I just had the chocolate.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I'm going to have the migraine anyway, apparently. So just give me the chocolate. So I just went back to the chocolate, and man, I made up for it. But it wasn't that was doing it. I do believe it's kind of like a stress thing or like hormonal imbalance or something. It's definitely chemicals within your body. I don't think it's just a case of, oh, well, you had some chocolate there, or you had yourself a glass of wine. I don't think it's that. It might be for some people, but I don't think it's that for me. Because I've avoided all of it, and I've still ended up struggling with, being exactly the same with whatever it was to begin with, but going without something that's actually comforting. Like, really, I kind of need all the comfort I can get.
Right.
But these recent migraines. No, I was just going to say, these recent migraines, they've actually started to cause vertigo.
Oof.
So I've had a couple of falls. Yeah, I realized how bad that was when I actually fell over. I just felt dizzy while I was sitting down, and I just thought, oh, it's just dizziness. It's not too bad. And I stood up to go and I think I was just trying to get to the kitchen. Didn't think it was as bad as it was. I mean, I've had alcohol. I've been drunk. I've managed to stagger from one place to the next. I thought, how difficult can it be? Well, apparently it's really difficult. So
yeah,
it was, I just went straight down. And then, well, thankfully I managed to stop myself, because it wasn't like a blackout fall over. It was just like I'd been spinning. Like, I'd been really spinning, and then that was it. I was just way too dizzy to stand up. But I'd just been sitting there, so I don't know what had done it. But yeah, I'm now getting vertigo with these migraines, and then also I don't know how some people pronounce this one way or the other, tinnitus or tinnitus, where your ears start to ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
My
So I've been getting that. Yeah. So I get that, and then the vertigo, and then once that clears up, I usually end up with a headache that lasts anywhere from like a day and a half to 3 days, and it's bad. So yeah, I've got to get on top of it. I've got to get rid of it. It's just got to stop because it's just getting in the way. And I want to do more lives. I want to be more present for doing my artwork. I don't want to have to not, be able to do something just because I'm dealing with a migraine. It's just too much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's scary.
It is. It's scary, but it's also just really annoying.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. I mean, I've been through some scary stuff, but just when it's annoying, that's scary. You can kind of get people to help you through something. Scary usually it's usually just temporary, but this is like a regular feature right now, and so yeah. But anyway, we're not doctors here. We don't know what's going on. I'm just trying to deal with it.
Yeah, this is the unfortunate part of aging, I guess, for all of us. It's
Right.
because my wife, they haven't been able to figure out her tinnitus and how to solve that. She has a ringing of her ears, and we try everything, and um, it's and I mean, a friend of mine who doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, in his 40s, diabetes. Where'd that come from? Not obese, not overweight, but all of a sudden, diabetic. So as you age, your body starts
Wow.
your body just starts doing things, and it's that's the scary part. I mean, I could tell you how many times I wake up in the morning, and I go to stand up and it feels like my ankles are broken. I'm like, what do you mean? Was I running a marathon in my sleep? I was like, why is my ankles hurting?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell is this about?
Oh, you preaching to the choir there. I've had this like ever since I was a kid. I've had this thing with my right ankle that it just every now and again it just starts to hurt, and it's based on having like it's an old injury thing, and it just every now and again it would just hurt for a few days. It'd be a bit difficult to walk. I'd put one of those elastic bandages on it, and everything would be good. This time around, it's been bothering me for about 2 months, maybe more. 2 months. And I'm just like, really? Like this is supposed to be like a 2-day thing, and it's been
Right.
2 months up to now. Mind you, I should probably just not be walking on it. I just keep going out walking every day because I go out with my dog. I go out with her at least twice a day. And, that's probably one of the most important things that I feel like I need to do. If I don't do that, I feel like a really bad dog parent. And plus,
Yeah.
I like to go out with her. It's one of my favorite things to do is to take Deja out and just watch how happy she is when she gets out and about doing her thing,
Yeah,
So
it's
I feel
one of those.
bad if I can't do that.
Yeah, because they need their exercise, and it's one of the reasons why I moved. One, I just didn't want 2 floors anymore, but also I wanted a bigger yard, and the yard that we have is so big that when the dogs go to the other side, they look small, and they love it. They love it. They run around, and they chase me. I still can run, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
I'm like, all right, I still got it.
Nice.
Still got it. But it's it's um it's exciting to have that, and they need that exercise, and they love it. And one of my dogs, my Shepherd mix, she thinks she's always on patrol, because she walks the perimeter of the fence. It's an 8 foot tall fence, and but so she
Oh, wow.
walks the edge of the fence on the inside, and she walks the entire perimeter like she's marching or protecting the fortress. Um, You know, all the
Wow.
dogs have dogs, so they all bark, and my dogs hear them. Um, I gotta get this, fix that. And my dogs hear them, and it's just fun. I mean, I love this place where we are, and I haven't been able to walk them because I've been working so much. But at least they're able to run around and chase each other in that yard, and they get the exercise, and they sit outside for long periods of time, and it's really cool.
Well, we have a decent sized yard here. Like I don't have a problem with space if Deja wanted to just go out and be in the yard. But she's at an age now where she's not really that entertained by it. She's just more like I suppose her age equivalent to a human is like she should be just sitting outside in the sun with a glass of wine, right? Like
Yeah.
she's not really into like running around and being too crazy, but she will go crazy if if there's somebody who she doesn't know that's walking by, any other dog out walking, she'll go and shout at them. She'll do the general reactive dog thing that they all do when it's like, this is my yard, don't you come in here.
Yeah.
She'll do that. That's about as much running as she'll do. She'll try and catch a few squirrels. She's been getting better at it over the years, but I think it's at the point now where she's probably a little bit she's past getting that like quick dash for the squirrel. It's like she's like a bit tired now with she's not the puppy she was trying to get them. But
Right.
other than that, she doesn't really exercise in the yard. She's more like the social butterfly. She likes to be out in the neighborhood and she has to see the neighbors. And if she knows who lives where, and she has to be checking out those properties to make sure that she's not missing her favorite people. And if
Right.
only one person is out from that property, like say there's one house there and she knows there's at least another person in there that she likes to see, she'll shout at the house. She'll do like a woo woo noise at the house to let the
Hmm.
person in there know that she's there. So they know they have to come out and
Right.
see her and and do all the fussing of her and tell her how awesome she is. And she's just that's what she expects of the neighbors. So she's a little social butterfly. So that's more of her preference these days. Not so much play, it's more just like checking in on the neighbors and making sure that they all know she's still the awesome Deja dog from Mars.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
she's a sweet little dog. Everyone usually is like, what is she? Because she does look, she's got an unusual look. She's actually mixed between a Siberian Husky and a Chihuahua Terrier.
Mm. Wow.
So she's quite unique looking. She's got the best blue eyes. She's so cute with the blue eyes, really is. But yeah, she's a little social butterfly when she's out and about, and then when she's here, she's just the couch potato.
That's cool. Yeah. As soon as I walk in well, my dogs, for some reason, they have sixth sense. They know when I'm driving up the block. And that's how my wife knows I'm coming home, because they start barking. I don't know how they know it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, are you up the block? I said, yeah. She goes, they're barking. I said, oh. And as soon as I walk in, they tackle me and they want their snacks. And so I have to work on giving them their snacks. And so each and there's 6 of them. So I got the big dog bones for the big dogs. I got the little dog bones for the little dogs. And I got soft chews for my older one who has barely any teeth. And it's a routine every day.
So how is because the most recent addition to the family that you got regarding the dogs, that was just after New Year, from what I remember. Is it Bella?
Yes, it's Bella. Yeah.
How is she fitting in now? Because I'm imagining it was probably a little bit of adjustment for her from the shelter.
I am her everything. She's very protective of me. She wants me to pick her up like she's a little baby every day. She wants me to hold her on my arms and sing to her. So she's always trying to jump in my arms. Um, if if the dogs start chasing me, she jumps in front of me and protects me from the dogs. She's definitely daddy's little girl, but she's doing
Oh,
great.
that's
She's getting along with everybody, and she has definitely a love hate relationship with my one of my Chihuahuas, Winchester. She doesn't like the
mhm.
fact that he's a whiner, and she doesn't like that. She keeps telling him to man up, and so those two are always going at it because he's always whining. Um, but no, she's doing really great, and she's really adapted to the home pretty easy, and the kids. So it's she's definitely a good compliment to the team.
Oh, that's cute. Because I was surprised that you ended up with another dog because I thought there was quite a large pack that you had to begin with. So she must have been special for you to decide to take on another dog.
Well, you know what's funny? I haven't been awake for New Year's Eve in years, and um, for years. I mean, and I, for some reason, when my sister and my said, "Hey, would you like to go and spend New Year's Eve at the shelter, reading books to the animals?" and and my wife wanted to do it, and then I just said, "Lord, I know because I don't do this. I like to sleep during New Year's Eve. I know that there's a reason why you're sending me there." So when I got there,
Hmm.
I was reading a book to a boxer. I was reading Sherlock Holmes and to a boxer, and then and I was giving him snacks, and then my wife says, "You need to go to the yard," and it's 11 o'clock at night. And I was like, okay, let me go to the yard. And I go to the yard, and her sister's there with one of the employees. And I said, Desiree wanted me to come out here. She goes, oh, I think she wants you to see her. And she's in the corner. She's balled up and she's nervous. And I'm like, yeah, she's very nervous around people. And I got on my knees and I said, and I looked at her and I said, you're so beautiful. And she crawled to me, put her arms on me, her paws on me, and like crawled up in my arms. And I was like, "Oh, this is why you had me come here tonight, Lord." I said, "All right, I guess she's coming home with us," and that's how it happened. Because there was no other reason for me to be
Oh,
there. Because normally I prefer to sleep during New Year's, and so
hmm.
I knew that there had to be some reason why. And I'm glad it was because they were using her for breeding and she was abused. So I was like, I was glad I was there. I felt bad for the boxer, because I thought, I was like, I'm supposed to take him home? That's, at first I was like, am I supposed to take this guy home? And so I'm trying to build a rapport
Hmm.
with him. And all he was concerned, he wasn't really, he didn't care about me. He cared about the snacks that I had in my hand. And
Right.
and then that's when that happened. And she chose me. And then I put the leash on her, and I did the paperwork. We did New Year's. It's
Hmm.
12:05, and I said, "All right, come, girl." And she just comes with me, and she followed me. And as soon as I opened up the car, she jumped in, like she already knew. And it was an
Yeah,
easy,
she knew.
yeah. So
Yeah, she definitely knew.
you know, for me, it was an easy process. We created her for a couple weeks. And then I just
Hmm.
said, you know what? I'm taking a chance. I'm taking her out the crate. And I took her out the crate, and she did fine with the kids.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah. I just leave her in a crate when we leave because when we put her in the bedroom last time when we left, she tore that bedroom apart. So I was like, I say because she got mad because I left. And so I was like, all right, now you're going to have to stay created when I leave. So the other dogs are not created when I leave. She is because she doesn't like it when I leave. She gets emotional.
Well, Yeah, I mean, there is that situation that can happen where you think, okay, I'm going to trust the animal, and then it doesn't work out because you kind of just maybe thought that they were going to be a certain way. You don't realize that they're going to have that much of an obsession,
Yeah.
that you might actually have that kind of an impact. You just don't realize it because they act so good when you're around. It
Yeah.
took me a while for me to be trusting Deja, not being in her crate. And even then, I still feel better if she's actually in her crate, if it's going to be a few hours. I'm not a big fan of having dogs in crates, but she actually likes to go in there. And the more I read up on it, the more I realized that it was kind of a safe space for them.
Yeah.
So in a way, it could be more cruel for me to have her wandering the whole house, wondering where I am for all those hours. But she hasn't been too mischievous. There was one time that when she was a pup, she chewed a hole through the she chewed a hole through the sofa, and I was like, wow. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I was quite mad at first. Like inside I was furious. I was like, there's a hole in the sofa and you did it. I was like,
Yeah.
there's no hole. And I was like, wow. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, the only reason there's a hole in the sofa was because I wasn't watching her.
Yeah.
And then there was another time she pulled I was in the kitchen and I heard this tearing noise, and I was thinking, what? Like what's getting ripped up? I'm right here. And I went to look in the lounge. And it did take me a moment to compose myself from laughter because I know I was supposed to tell her to stop, but it just looked so funny. She actually had the curtains in her mouth and she was she was pulling them. And every time she tugged, there was like a rip and then a rip and a rip. And it was proper cartoon looking the way she was doing it, and I couldn't stop laughing, and I was trying to be serious. So I was like, no, you don't do that. And then I picked up one of her toys. I said, rip this up instead. So I started playing with that. And she's like ripping away at this toy. And while I'm hanging on to the other end of this toy, kind of side-eyeing the curtains, going, well, there goes the curtains. Check box that along with the sofa. It's like, there we go. Like, what can you do? It's just one of those things. You can't be crazy about it.
No.
That's what I
Yeah.
realized.
Yeah.
Because if she's done anything wrong, it's because of me. I wasn't watching, or I didn't have anything lined up for her to do. She's like a kid, and
Yeah.
I don't see any benefit from yelling at her because she has
Right.
no idea what that is. No
Yes.
idea.
Yes. She's being a dog. She's having fun, she's doing what they're
Right,
supposed to do. And then when you're upset, they don't understand why you're upset. Like, what's your problem? Um,
right.
and yeah.
I mean, I'll admit, she looked like she was having the best time ripping the curtains up. And when she was ripping the hole in the sofa, if I think back, that she was having the best time. Like, I could see in her face, she was like in the zone. I was like, wow. Like, I wish I could just get that much excitement out of just like ripping something up and being like, yes, that was the best thing. But then I'd be like, well, I don't have that anymore, and I'd be all miserable. But she didn't have that. She was just in the zone, having the best time. And I'm like, yep, you do you. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just got to proof the house, that's all you can do.
That's all you can do, and it's the best part of having animals. I think they keep you on your toes. They
Right.
they're so innocent. They'll love you unconditionally. They accept all your flaws. Yeah, whatever it is, and they don't judge. Um, it's it's a beautiful thing to have animals in your life. Yeah.
It is. I'm not sure about the judging though, because I'm sure she judges how quick I can open the treats and stuff like that. She's like, "You're not doing that fast enough. You've done it better. You were much faster yesterday," or like, she's female, so it's like I think female dogs are a little bit more judgy than the male dogs, and
A
I
little
love that.
more
I think it's
demanding
hilarious.
and demanding.
Yes,
Yes, because these girls, when it's snack time, there's no patience. Like they're standing there, they're barking at me. I mean, and they bark and they're like, "Come on, hurry up! You're not moving fast enough. Where's my snack? I'm hungry."
right,
And they know 5 in the morning. I get up, I take them out, and they all line up by the pantry because they know that they're gonna get their dental bone. They're going to get their multivitamins pills. They're going to get all the chewy all in one shot. So they've grown to expect it, and they got
right,
me. They
as they
got me.
should.
Yeah, they got me wrapped around their finger.
Yeah. See, we're the ones that go through training, not them.
No, they're the ones who train us.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
Deja's like, she's pretty intelligent for considering she has me as her dog mother. She's pretty
Mhm.
intelligent. I try my best. So we do dog dancing, which is like just so funny
Yeah,
because I'll select some music and I'll be like, what we're gonna do it to today. And like when I
that's
get her doing the turns and things, I'll be like, all right, let's get a bit of Bonnie Tyler on and do that. Turn around every now and then I get a little bit lonely. And then I get her to do the turns. And
that's
I'm like, I
awesome.
really got to get a life, but I'm having too much fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And she's pretty good at the dog dancing. I see stuff online, other people doing it, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to try that next. And she's like, oh, God, really? I'm like, yep, we're doing that one. She could just give me the treat.
Yeah,
She does like it though. It's entertainment for her. It's better than just like boring old, sit, stand, roll, that kind of thing.
yeah.
So you teach your dogs tricks, or are they just like, is it just the basic stuff, Egon?
It's just the
Like
basic stuff.
any interesting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the sit, stay up, like when I say it's up time, or when I say it's time to go to bed, they all run to the bedroom. When I say it's
Mm-hmm.
potty time, they all run to the door. When I say snack, they run to the pantry. Like they know specific words and
Mm-hmm.
phrases, but I never actually went into like the whole teach them stuff. Never had that opportunity to actually go into like tricks um,
Well, you
and
got a
then
lot. There's a lot of dogs. So you'd have to do like line dancing or something. Have them all lined up doing the same thing.
I know, I know, I know. But they bring me joy. I mean, my drive to work is anywhere between an hour and 20 minutes to 2 hours. All depends on traffic,
Oh,
and
wow.
I look forward to when I get here because just hearing them bark and the way they're like excited um, to see me and the way they greet me, it's like it's pretty awesome. And
That
it's a
is the
great
best
way.
thing.
Yeah, it's a great way to forget about the stress because sometimes work is very stressful, and it's a great way just to forget about everything and just come home, unwind, be with the dogs, hang out in the yard um, before I start drawing and stuff. Um, yeah,
Yeah, she definitely takes a lot of the stress away from me being around a dog, being around Deja in particular.
yeah. And then I always forget that I have cats, and then I have to go and make sure I spend time with them, and I always somehow forget these guys, and I'm a bad dad sometimes. And I'm like, then I hear them meow because they hear me, and I'm like, oh, let me go into the room and let me go play with them.
Well, I just got a new kitten recently. It's very weird the way it happened. I think I might have mentioned it to you actually. I was trying to help some feral kittens. They were along at the neighbors. There was quite a few houses down. And I was trying to help because they had this one cat there that was just hanging out, and they'd been feeding it scraps, and then it ended up having kittens, had about 6. And I was trying to get them used to humans and trying to round them up. And cut a long story short on that, the people who lived there were wanting the help, but they didn't particularly want to help me help them. So it was getting difficult. And then this one day I went along there to help again, and I didn't see any of these kittens. And I thought they'd been moved, because that sometimes happens, that the mama cat will just get freaked out by something, and then the next thing everyone's moving. So I thought they disappeared, and then also I thought, oh, maybe something happened where these kittens actually, ended up in the food chain, and I was kind of a bit upset about that. I thought that maybe had been what happened, because I also could smell like something dead around their property, and I was like, that doesn't seem good, and there's no kittens, and I was like, oh, well, that's probably what's happened. So I got really upset about it, and kind of started wishing I'd never been involved in it. I was like, oh, I kind of thought I was getting a kitten, at least one of them, and rehoming the rest. I realized that I was upset about it. Anyway, I went out that night, walking Deja, went up the normal route that we do, and one of the neighbors where she likes to stop at, they just happened to cut. Some other neighbors came out from their house, and she walked up to me and she said, oh, I might have a kitten. No, well, she said, I've got a kitten for you. And I was like, huh? I was like, this is weird. Why are you suddenly feeling like you need to offer me a kitten? And what kitten is this? And she was like, oh, I just know you like cats, and I've been fostering this kitten along with some others, and this is the last one. And I said, is it male or female? And she said, it's male. I was like, okay. And when it comes down to cats, I always prefer the male kittens. Male cats are just always so chill and laid back,
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm listening. And I said, what color is it? She was like, oh, it's kind of like this pinky beige color. And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely still interested. And we ended up going to see it, and I ended up taking it thinking, all these kittens had disappeared anyway, and maybe I'm meant to have this one. And then I find out that the kitten actually has the same birthday as me, so he's a Star Wars kitten, May the 4th.
Oh,
and I was like, this is just perfect, we're just taking this kitten. And then after I had agreed to take the kitten, and we just needed to wait on the medical things to transfer, and he had to go for one more what do you call them, the booster shot things. He had to get that done. I'm just waiting on that. Of course, I was out walking a couple of days later, and all the other kittens were back out, and I was like, seriously, I can't do this anymore. But I just left it to the neighbors to handle after that, because it was like, this is too much. It was not meant to be.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for the kittens, it turns out that the kittens are like there were 6, and it's now down to 3.
Wow.
2 of them I don't know what happened to, but they said one of them had actually been run over, and it's just like, I kept telling them, you're gonna have to get the other cat, you're gonna have to get the mama cat fixed, so this doesn't become a regular thing.
Yeah.
That you're dealing with, because it's traumatizing.
It is. Wow.
We've got a lot of cats in this neighborhood as well. Like we've got too many. There's a lot.
That's how we ended up.
So
when we moved into a condo, in New Jersey. That's how we ended up with so many cats, because in the yard there were all these strays. And so we caught all of them, and we worked with the SPCA, and we got them neutered, and we got them um, the shots and everything. And then we just, we put them back out in the yard. But then we wound up adopting, and then we decided to just get them home. So we started working with them to get them adopted, and we kept the most feral ones, the ones that they wanted to euthanize, that they didn't feel were tameable. We kept those, and then I tamed them. And the rest, we got them homes. But that's the tough part.
Yeah, it's just, it is difficult. I didn't particularly want to end up with all of the cats from along the street. I was setting myself up in my mind to just maybe keep one of them.
Yeah.
And then the other ones, find homes. But the ultimate goal was just to stop that situation from happening again in the first place. And I don't know if I can even help with that at this point, because like I said, the neighbors who have this, cat on their property, they're not doing anything to help resolve the situation. They're just sitting there like, well, someone else can deal with it.
Yeah. That unfortunately is a problem.
Right.
And
I'll tell you what else was a problem with it. The heat. Trying to go along there and deal with it in the heat. Having to sit out and wait for kittens to come out there's just no way to do that.
No.
It's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a bird. I have a pigeon in the yard. Not a pigeon, she's a dove. I have a dove, and she's nesting. She's had a couple babies. Some of them are hatched already. One of them, she's waiting for it to hatch, and she's sheltering on my. I have a water hose that's mounted to the side of my house that's like on a spinner wheel, and so there's a platform that she's on there, because above her the awning protects her from any predators from above. So I saw her there nesting, and so then I went and I got a feeder, and I got a thing for water for her, and I was like, you know what, Mom, I'm gonna take care of you, and just making sure that she had all the comforts, and she'll go and fly once in a while to scout for like twigs and stuff, and I saw her on the neighbor's roof just watching me, because I was replenishing the water in the feeder, so she didn't want to come back until I was done, but she was watching me and making sure no harm was coming to her kids, and then when I was done, she flew back. Yeah, but my wife's like, you actually bought a feeder? I said, yeah, I couldn't do it. She's having babies, and I want to make sure that they come out okay, and she doesn't have to travel too far to get food.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would be like that too. I get quite obsessed with helping animals, but like with this situation with the kittens, it was getting to the point where it was not easy for me to be helping, because I wasn't able to get access to where they were actually starting to move to, which was on the other side of the fence.
Right.
And unless they were leaving their gate open all the time for me to get in there, and I was explaining to them that I would need to have access, and they just looked at me like I was crazy. We're like, oh yeah, I'm like, well, I can't just climb over the fence,
Yeah.
So I was just like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to forget about the helping thing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And this couple's elderly as well, so the part of the reason why I did want to help, because I thought, they need the help. And then I thought, well, they do have their own kids that could come and help them.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised. Sometimes the kids don't want to. Um,
Right.
they have their own lives and they don't, but I don't know. I see so many cruel things happening to animals, and it's hey, thanks, Chris. Welcome to the live stream. Um, and
Oh, yeah. I thought I had, I thought I had someone who's actually in my house.
oh, is he?
Yeah, that's my other half.
What's up, Chris?
Yeah, I was like, I'm sure I had somebody coming in here. And I looked over to see if Deja had reacted, and I thought, well, she's not very good at garden house because she hasn't moved. But yeah, I did think I heard somebody, and I'm like, oh, okay. You found the live stream. Yay!
Yeah, yeah. I've always been
Yeah,
a sucker for animals since I was a kid. I've always it's just we take over the planet, and we take so much of their natural habitat away from them. I just feel it's our obligation
right,
whenever it presents itself to be able to take care of them, or give back, or try to make their lives a little better in some small way, you know.
right. So I was like, so sad though when you see the impact we have on them now. I mean, like where I live, we're on a road that I would say it was a busy road, but it's definitely gotten more busy over the last like few years because they've added there's just more places being built, there's just more things going on, there's more construction happening. We tend to be the place where people think, oh, this is the shortcut. So unfortunately for the wildlife around here, we've got more like roadkill basically to deal with out there, and it's horrible. Just the other day, I was out walking Deja, and there was nothing outside of the gate when I walked out because I would have seen it. It's like it's pretty obvious when something's being hit. And we went
Right.
out for the walk. It was probably, somewhere between like it was probably around 8 o'clock when we headed out. The time varies when we go out, and I'm not like exact every day, but it was around about 8. And by the time we got back, we'd maybe been out about an hour. Came back and someone had hit an armadillo. And the
Oh,
traffic wasn't even that bad at that point. So I'm like, you couldn't see it? Like, really?
yeah.
It's
Well,
it's
no, they're too busy.
confusing to me as to how you didn't see that.
No, they're too busy speeding. Um, and I think by the time they see it, I think I've seen it a lot. I've seen people just speed out of control, and they can't stop on time, and they wind up, you know, hurting an animal in that process.
Right. Yes, I've probably seen about 3 armadillos that have been hit over the last month on this road. And there's been cats hit, and it it just never ends. It doesn't end, and I don't even know what to begin to do about it, because nobody's going to do anything in this area for speeding. Now and again, you'll get a police car that'll sit in a shady bit, and they're picking people up for speeding every now and again. But that's not enough to be a regular thing to stop all the animals being hit. And then on top of that, there's more kids appearing here and there. They move into the apartments nearby with like parents, and suddenly there's a lot more kids out, and the school buses are more active around here for that. And then you just think, yeah, there's not even a sign to say like, there's kids around here.
Yeah,
People don't
yeah.
care.
No,
no speed bump option or nothing. We're just not in an area that would be something that they want to actually they just don't feel like they want to spend the money here for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, every day, I mean, I see how many times people, I mean, it was like when I went to San Antonio for the Comic-Con, the speed limit goes up to 85. I was watching,
Oh yeah.
and I was just, every 2 miles, there was somebody in a ditch or a car flipped over or an accident because they just can't control themselves at that speed.
Right.
You know, and it's scary. You know, I mean, I was excited. I was like, oh, yes, 85, cool. But I'm responsible. If I'm going to hit 85, I'm going to make sure there's at least 10 car lengths in front of me. Because as the car lengths decrease, I slow down my speed because it takes you a long time to stop the car when traffic stops. And in Texas, it stops on a dime. You know, and,
Right.
people, for some reason, they think it's not going to be them. And it just, I don't know, it's scary to see all the people that take unnecessary risks in the on the road. I don't like that.
Right. There's places that people need to get to, and I understand that, but you'd like to just get there though, because there's getting there late and then there's not getting there at all. I'd rather be late.
Yeah. Bottom line, it's I'd rather be there safely. And
Right. And if that means late, then so what?
yeah. But these speed demons, I see it every day. And when there's an accident because on 1 minute it'll say you got 30 minutes left to go. Then all of a sudden it says an hour. I'm like, oh man, there's an accident.
Right.
I'm like, here we go.
I'll tell you what else is crazy though. I don't drive a lot at the moment. I don't really have a reason to go driving many places. But when I did, one of the things that really would confuse me was when the traffic would be stopped and you'd be sitting there and it's like bumper to bumper and you have no idea why you stopped and you just assume, well, somebody's had an accident, right? It's got to be someone up ahead's had an accident and we're all waiting to get around it. And then suddenly everything just clears in front of you and you've been sat there for like 10, 15 minutes and you look and you think there's nothing happening. Absolutely nothing happening. What even happened? It's like, was it just like, if you're on like a 3-lane highway, was it just like 3 people just decided to stop in a row for 10 minutes? Like, what were we doing?
Yeah.
Those things when it makes no sense. Like, why would we stop? Nothing happened.
Yeah. Or people are looking to see something that on the other side of the road could be. I think what really gets on
the
my
rubbernecking.
Yeah, what gets on my nerves is when the speed limit is 70, but the guy in front of you is doing 60 and there's nobody in front of him. And I'm like, or the guys that constantly putting on their brakes when there's nobody in front of them. And I'm like, what is wrong with your foot? I said, you're forced to go around them. I'm like, what's going on here? So control your feet, man. Yeah. But I love to speed, but I do it respectfully and safely. When I have the open road, that's my time. I'm out. But when there's traffic, I'm very respectful. I'm very aware of the impact to other people on the road. I'm very sensitive to what's happening. I don't like it when people tailgate when I'm already breaking the speed limit and you want to ride my tail. That drives me nuts. It's like I'm already breaking the speed limit. Why are you on my tail? go around me or something. What was that?
What, that thump?
Yeah, did you hear that?
I heard something. Yeah, it was like something. To me, it sounded like something dropped on a table.
Yeah, I was looking because I have my cameras. It's not like it came from my yard, but I think it came from the room next door. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I can talk about being angry on the road. I mean, that's the only time I get really angry is when I'm on the road. I get angry with drivers, with the just careless drivers. Outside of that, I usually keep my cool. I'm usually, composed.
Right. I mean, it's the best way.
Yeah.
I've ended up in a couple of incidents where like I've been on the receiving end of some like weird road rage thing, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even, like nothing actually happened. Someone just gets annoyed because you're not driving like they are.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know why the guy was upset with me, but he starts putting his fog lights and trying to blind me as I'm driving. And then he's trying to get in front of me to do stop and go to cause me to run into him.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what is going on with this person? Does he think he knows me? Did I remind him of somebody? I'm like, what's going on? Because there was no
Right.
for it, but the guy was definitely upset about something. And I just didn't understand what it was because it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, there's some people who I think when it comes down to it, they're in their vehicles and it's almost like it's their little castle on wheels, like their own little fortress, and they feel so safe but entitled at the same time.
Yes.
And then they'll actually use, the fact that they're more or less untouchable.
Yes.
To just do something that can be considered kind of, I don't know, I suppose, violent towards other people.
Yeah.
The aggression. And I'm really just wondering, it's like, why do they do that? Is it because they're having issues in another part of their life and that's some kind of release? Like, well, I'm just going to be a complete turd, to somebody who's not going to be able to actually tell me I'm being a turd. They're just going to have to take this aggression, and then I'm going to drive away, and they're just going to have to deal with that, like, what the F moment, like, what was that about?
Yeah. But again, when you think about today's world, there is a lot of people that don't know how to deal with depression. There's a lot of people that don't know how to deal. We call it mental illness, but I think it's just there's unresolved things in their lives, and then the only way they're able to deal with it is through violence or creating a scene because they haven't found another way to deal with it, or they don't have anybody to talk to. So what I find most of the time, when you find people who are getting violent or who are doing things that are in society considered reckless, it's because there's something missing in their personal life and they haven't come to terms with it, or they haven't been able to resolve it. And that's the unfortunate part.
Right. And there's different levels of that mental illness too. I mean, there's one thing, like, I can get it if someone's having a bad day. I get that. And you can be a little bit touchy, and like you can have that aggression from people because they're having a bad day. And then then it starts to like take different, like, it's different levels after that. It takes on a different face. And some of them you just really best not dealing with.
Yeah.
I mean, I had one where I was on the receiving end of someone who was obviously dealing with full-on mental illness where they needed to be medicated. And I don't just mean they needed an antidepressant. They needed some kind of medication, probably like for psychotic episodes,
Right.
because I got chased. They started yelling at me. I don't know what they were saying. It was just yelling. And I just thought, oh, well, you do you. Sorry you're yelling and whatever, but, you do you.
Right.
I'll just continue on my way here. But then they didn't want to let me just continue on my way. They kept following, and then they started yelling with a little bit more determination. And then I was like, oh, yeah, they're really yelling at me, but I still don't know why. And then as I was trying to just continue on my way, I had Deja with me as well. It was just one of our morning walks. I mean, it was definitely too early for this crap, I have to say, but it was about 7:30 in the morning, and I'm being yelled at by some crazy guy. And I was like, well, okay, you do you. Sorry you're having a bad day. And then I realized I had to get out of there real quick when I looked back just to check to see, because he was kind of following me. And I was like, I just really got to make sure he's not following me too closely. And I looked back again, and he was trying to cross the road, and he pulled something out of his bag, and I realized it was a fold-out machete, and I'd never seen a fold-out machete before, because I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently it is. So he pulls out this machete, unfolds it, and then starts pointing it at me, and I was like, oh wow, this is it, then, is it? this is where I end up. This is where it ends, huh? I was like, wow. So I got my phone and went to call 911, and I got put on hold before they even answered. I was like, what?
Oh my goodness.
I was like, you're kidding. I got put on hold before anyone even answered. It was like, one of those, your call is really important to us. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm looking at a guy coming at me with a machete, and I'm like, oh man. I was like, come on, legs, we're running now. And I was trying to get Deja to run, and she's like, yeah, but he's a human. I like getting pets from humans. I'm like, not this one.
This one, no.
Not this one. Right. So I was like, oh crap. So I was running along the road thinking, well, it's not too bad because he hasn't managed to get across the road yet. He's just pointing the weapon at me from the other side of the road. So I was like, I'm okay right now. And then all the traffic that was coming down stopped and let him across. I was like, wait a minute. Because at first I was thinking, oh, so the traffic's stopping because someone's going to get out and help me, right? No, they just stopped so he could cross the road. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. I was like, what? It's like, I'm definitely going to die. Oh my God, I'm going to die. And I was thinking, like, I don't know if my weapons are going to be up, to like fight off the machete, because I had one of those conchas, the retractable sticks.
Uh-huh.
I had one of those. I was thinking, well, I mean, I could have a chance. I'm still going to try. I might have to fight him off with this stick. And then I was also thinking, oh yeah, and I've got my pepper spray as well. I was like, maybe I'll just blast him with that. So I kind of had I did have a backup plan to a degree, but I was still terrified. Like, I mean, it was way too early for that. It was just way too early.
Oh, that was scary. How'd you get away?
Well, he stopped in the middle of the road when he was crossing, because I thought he was just going to come straight over, but he ended up stopping, and he started talking like randomly, as if he was just talking to himself or maybe somebody else that was, because I don't know what he was seeing. I don't know what he was seeing me as, but he started acting like there was maybe somebody else there as well. And then that gave me a chance to run down the road a little bit more. And by then, I managed to get my call answered and describe what was happening. And they didn't really seem too concerned, honestly, but by then I was just running, and I did feel like I had enough distance. And then he started looking around again, realized that I disappeared. pretty far down the road, and then he realized that, well, he's not going to be able to catch up with me. So I managed to get away that way, and then eventually the police showed up. Well, the police, I said the sheriff, the area we're in, we get the sheriff. So they showed up, and I sat down at the neighbor's house to watch what was going on and just to see if they needed to talk to me about anything. And after discussing things with him at the house, because we found out he was at a house up the road, after they had a discussion with him, he ended up just willingly getting into the police car. And from what I heard, they took him to a mental health facility to try and get him sorted out. And I thought, oh, well, that's good. I mean, I'm not one for like just wanting people to be put in jail and stuff. You know, that seemed like a really good option for me. I was like, I'm happy about that. He obviously needs some kind of help, right? So they took him off to a mental health facility, which I was like, right, he's going to get help. Then a week later, he was back at his property, and people were like saying, you know, he's still not right. He's still not right. And I was like, well, I don't know what you want me to do. I mean, I reported what I reported as it was happening, but you can't just, you know, report him because he's acting a bit weird, because he definitely was still acting a bit off, but he wasn't hurting anyone. But then it turned out that a couple of weeks after that, he went on another episode, and he ended up on the news on that one because somebody managed to capture him on video, and he was wielding 2 knives this time.
Ooh.
And he was trying to get into somebody's house. So he was definitely having some issues, and eventually he was told that he wasn't going to be able to live there anymore because he was, you know, he's trying to stab people.
Yeah, that's crazy. Dang.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a crazy situation. And honestly, I don't think that when I told people what had happened to me, like, hey, be careful if you head around that street because there's a guy over there who's having some mental health problems. Like, other things he would do is he would come out to his mailbox, he would get his mail and then just throw it around the street. And then he would go knock on people's doors and ask if they would like to buy his mail. So he was, you know, it was crazy stuff. It wasn't like always terrorizing people with knives. It was just really kind of odd behavior. But when I mentioned people, you know, did actually chase me with a knife, I don't think they believed me. I think it just sounded so insane from me that they just thought it couldn't have possibly happened. I'm like, well, you'll find out, I suppose. You know, I'm trying to warn you, but you'll find out.
That is crazy.
And then, of course, when it ended up on the news, they were like, oh, you were right. And I was like, well, yeah. I'm not going to
stuff up.
Right. It's like, I've got better things to do than make up that. Like,
I'm looking for attention.
You
I'm
know?
making up stories. Yeah.
Right. It's like, that's not a thing that I really got time to make up. It's not a thing that really is something that I would like to be dealing with at 7:30 in the morning, but there I was dealing with it.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's you know, but unfortunately there are a lot of people out there that need help. They don't know how to ask for help. They don't know how to get the help. I remember when I worked in New York City, you know, Port Authority train station, in the mornings, it's always packed, and people always running to get the train, running to get to work, and you know everybody's in a rush, right? And so I pull out my Metro card and I go and to swipe to enter the terminal. This guy's exiting the terminal as I swipe, so he's exiting on my side that I just swiped to go through, and he tries to bump me out the way. And he, you know, and it's a businessman in a suit, but he was a big guy, and he was pissed off about something, and he thought he was going to take it out on me. And so he bumps me where I'm about to miss my fare because I swiped, and he rocked. So I put my foot out, and he tripped
Mm-hmm.
and landed and he slid across the floor, face planted. And I go through the turnstile, I look, and he gets up and he's screaming. I said, "That's what you get." And I kept walking. I was like, and I was,
Right.
I said, "Why possess you to try to bump somebody out the way? Why couldn't you be respectful?" But I was like, I wasn't gonna take it. I was like, "No, that's okay."
Right.
Yeah, but that's the reality of life. I mean, people don't think about the consequences of their actions. They think that they can take their aggression out on people, and unfortunately, that's not society. I mean, there's a limit to how much you can try to get away with and try to bully people. You know, until people just say enough is enough. You
Right.
know, but unfortunately, there's a
I
lot of
hate
people.
bullies.
Yeah,
I
you
hate
and me both.
bullying. I hate it with a passion.
Yeah, you and me both. It's one of the things in the neighborhood I grew up in. It was full of bullies, and I had a group of friends that I almost became like their big brother protector because we lived in a neighborhood where people just like to pick up on the weak. And some of my friends,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't like to fight. They just wanted to have fun and be kids and ride the bikes but there's always somebody that wants to test you and push the limits. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always somebody. And again, it goes back to what we mentioned earlier with those people obviously have an issue with something else. It's not necessarily the person that they're picking on,
Yeah.
but it
It's
doesn't
always
help
something
the
else.
person that's being picked on.
It doesn't. It's always deep rooted, and there's always something, either the absence of a father, or they were abused, or a loss of something, and they just don't know. They don't have an outlet to deal with it, or that foundation to be vulnerable. So they lash out, and then somebody's
Right.
always paid a price for that.
Yeah, people just have issues regardless. I think, well, it's always going to be that way in life, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about
So
it. I
I'm
mean,
just
huh?
sorry,
What?
I'm just checking on what you're doing. You start doing demons behind your character.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to have I'm gonna have fire in the background, and I want to have a demon in the background.
Oh, fire, that's a pretty good idea actually.
Yeah.
I
So I'm
was
looking at.
looking at this with what I'm doing here, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do on the background? And I started just patching some color in on the background. But let's just for fun, let's turn that into some kind of fiery color just to see. Let me get my big brush, big messy brush. Come on, messy brush, this one. Why isn't it changing? Let's go out of it a second. Sometimes Procreate will just be like, no, I'm not doing anything anymore. And I have to go out and back in on my image. I remember the first time it did that, I was like, no, I was in mid panic, like, oh no, everyone will lose everything.
Oh,
But
that
it just
happened to
sometimes
me.
it's just like, no, I'm not. Yeah, I just like go into the gallery and then open it back up and it goes back to what it wants to do or what I want it to do.
No,
Oh,
I
let me
made
get
a
a big
mistake and
brush
I
here.
didn't save the file, and my system
Mm-hmm.
crashed, and I was 80% done with the drawing, and I lost it all. I was so mad.
Oh, wow. Let's get another color. Oh, yeah, flamey background could be quite good on this.
There you go.
It's a bit of smoky to kind of take something off it.
Time flies. I mean, I remember when I decided on the date for Forbidden, that's like, I was going to give me plenty of time because I mean, the project's done. I'm just formatting the book and I'm doing something a little different for the hardcover versus the soft cover. And, then I was like, I got plenty of time. But then when I look, it's only a couple of weeks away. I was like, wow, time is moving fast.
Right. It is. It's definitely creeping up quickly.
Yeah. It's crazy, to think about. I feel like I'm always chasing the clock. I'm like
Right.
working the clock and trying to figure things out, and yeah, but it is what it is. I mean, I love to draw. This is for me, it's therapeutic. It's relaxing. Um, it's I don't know. It's just very healthy to be able to just do this and forget about the craziness that's happening in society and the craziness and the hate that's out there. And
There's a lot out there right now.
it is. It's crazy. People celebrating people's deaths. It's just crazy world, man. I don't know what happened to us as a society. I mean, there used to be such pride in being in America, and then there's just such a hatred that's going on. I just don't recognize, and it's crazy.
I think a lot of it we've got to thank for it. Because you can't really put it. I don't particularly want to put blame on particular people at the end of the day because I think it's a group effort. What's going on, to be honest? So
Yeah,
you've got a group effort from whichever opinions you want to focus on. It's a group effort. It's not just
yep,
individuals, and we
yeah,
don't always see the people who are involved in it. But it's definitely a group effort, and because we've got social media, I think that's something that is definitely fueling things in a way that we haven't particularly seen in, the time that we've been alive, when you just had your TV channels and your news to rely on and word of mouth from your neighbors and what you found out at school, what you found out at your local clubs that you went to, magazines that had memberships on, things that you bought, newspapers. But social
yeah,
media right now, it's
yeah.
great, but it's also terrifying.
It's
It's
yeah, it's
it's it's definitely a powerful medium. It's instant. You get
yes,
instant information, but it's not always accurate. And that goes regardless to what your beliefs are, what your opinions are, what you want to support, what you don't support. It
yeah.
doesn't matter. There is information coming at us that we don't even know if it's real or not.
Yeah, and that's basically what it's. But that's part of like a larger agenda, because the more that we're in fear and confused and don't know where the truth comes from, the more that it's almost like it creates a level of paralysis. Because when you don't know what's the truth and you don't have uh, the curiosity to want to dig in and do your own research to get some sort of answer, you won't do anything. Most people won't vote. They won't do
Right.
anything because they just don't know which direction to go. And that's a bigger plot, to create a level of paralysis or a lack of action from society, because then you can control
Mhm.
what happens. So it's a double edged sword. It's one of those things where, I mean, the fact that you can't even have a healthy discussion with somebody without somebody getting violent or, um, you know, making it personal, that's also scary.
Well, we did at one point. Society was able to talk about
Yeah,
any kind of like political stance, for example. You could talk about it, It was
Yeah.
encouraged to talk about it. And then at some point, and I don't know why, but it was decided that politics shouldn't be a thing that you talk about. And I
Yeah.
thought that was weird because I thought politics was all about talking.
Well, there was a lot of things that you weren't able to talk about anymore. You weren't able to talk about. You couldn't mention Christmas. You couldn't talk about religion. There
Exactly
was,
right.
everything just became taboo, where people were fearful of having any discussions about anything without triggering somebody. And the crazy thing is, the people that were triggered don't even know why they were triggered, because if it wasn't for the programming to create that level of fear, um, they would have talked about it under different circumstances. But because society started being conditioned to say no, I mean, there was a time where I grew up, there was a focus on the family. Everything was about the family. And then the narrative changed, and it became
Right.
about, you don't need your family, you be independent, you don't need anybody, do it yourself. And that whole movement to break up the household by encouraging women to, you don't need a man, the government will pay your bills, and next men were kicked out. So there was like, because they were government funded, with things. I mean, there's a bigger narrative going on, and unless people wake up and do their homework, they're always going to be in the dark. you know um
Right. And I think one thing that is probably people are worrying about too much these days is what other people are doing.
yeah, yeah,
I
it's
think when it comes down to it, if we're worrying about what other people are doing all the time, then when are we doing what we want to do? I don't
exactly.
understand the issue of, like, if somebody's not living their life the way I'm living my life, I'm feeling like, well, unless they're literally knocking on my door and harassing me, I don't know what business it is of mine. If they're doing things like they're paying their taxes, they're doing the regular stuff that everyone does, but they like different things, they have different opinions, they have a different idea about life than me. I don't see why that's my business. And I think if we stop worrying about other people's business,
Yes,
especially when
I
there's no
agree.
harm being done, I think we'd probably be a lot happier.
Exactly. And it's one of the things that I don't entertain. It's one of the reasons why we don't do it on the show on Catch the Craze. We don't get caught up in what's happening and the gossip, and because you see it all the time where creatives are airing out their dirty laundry, they're attacking each other,
Yeah,
they're making accusations. I mean, you've seen it with so it's like, it's not healthy at all. It only breeds more violence. And I said, live and let live. Do your thing. As long as you're not, hurting anybody, do you. I'll do me, and let's keep it moving.
right.
And that's it. It's there's no reason to try to hurt anybody. You know.
Exactly. I don't have any interest in telling people what they should be doing with their lives unless they're doing something that I'm literally seeing is like something that I feel like I need to tell them, like, hey, you got to stop doing that. Like, example, the other, I think it was maybe 3 weeks, a month ago or something. I was out. Actually, it seems like all my stories end up with me. I was out walking my dog, but honestly, I do other stuff, but I do walk her a lot. But I was out walking my dog. So, and we do, honestly, we do have kind of regular walks too. It's not like we have like shenanigans happening on every walk, but
Right.
there was this time out walking my dog in the morning, and I'm walking down the street. We're walking across I'm at the opposite side from where I live, but we have to do this particular circuit where we walk past our house on the opposite side. And I see there's a tow truck backing into one of the properties, and someone is out looking like I thought they were out there to direct the tow truck in, but they didn't really do much direction for the tow truck. They were just standing there, and I was like, well, fair enough. Probably can't see you anyway. So I'm like, whatever. we'll just make sure that that tow truck's not coming back out when we walk by. So I looked to the left as I was walking down just to make sure that that tow truck wasn't on its way back out. And as I look to the left, I see the guy who was supposed to be doing the kind of directing of the tow truck. I see him beating a puppy. So I literally see this guy strike the puppy at least 2 times, and then he goes in for a third, and he was not going to stop. And it was they were quick strikes, and I literally was like taking a breath to yell at him in the time that I saw him take these like hits on this puppy. And I yelled at him, and I'm not going to say what I said because I don't want to add any additional language other than the regular English that I'm using right now to your live. But I definitely I was very colorful with what I said, let's just say that. And I told him basically like, you need to stop that. Beep, 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 beep. You know, that's me covering the expletives, the beep, beep, you know. So I told him, and he looked at me shocked because he didn't think he'd been seen. And I was standing there with my dog yelling at him like I was furious, absolutely furious. And the first thing he said in response to me telling him to stop doing what he was doing, he decided that he was going to come to his own defense and tell me that it was because this puppy had bitten him. And I just thought, it's a puppy. And I just said, well, I would bite you too if you were treating me like that. Good for you. And I had a few expletives as well. But I was like, well, I would too. Like, good for you. I was like, good for you, puppy. And I told him that I was going to report him. And I did. And I sent the sheriff there. And I didn't feel bad about that at all. I felt quite proud of myself for reporting him. I'm not one for snitching on people, but you start beating animals up, then I'm going to make sure that the right people hear about that.
Yeah, I don't consider that snitching. I think that's just being responsible.
You know, I mean, there was no way I was going to let that slide. No way.
That's crazy.
I just couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that someone decided that they would do that to a puppy. So the following, it was a few days later, I was walking around that area again with Deja, and there's a food truck nearby, and the woman who runs that, she's really cool. She always says hey and has a bit of conversation when we go by. And a couple of days went past, and she was back there at her food truck, and she came running out, and she was like, "Oh, hey!" She goes, "I heard what happened. I heard you." I said, "You heard me? What?" She went, "With the guy with the puppy." And I went, "Oh, yeah, you heard that?" And I was thinking, oh, yeah, she heard a lot of colorful language from me. And then she was just so happy that I'd said something, because she said that she had seen this going on before, and she was wanting to report it, but she was too scared.
Wow.
And she said, you're a really strong woman to do that. And I said, no, I'm no stronger than you. It's just, I'm just not going to put up with that.
Yeah.
I said, you can report that. She didn't realize that she could report that. And that was shocking to me. It was like, you didn't realize? Yes, you can. You can. That's definitely a 911 call.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because my wife's the same way. My wife, she's like 3 inches tall. Yes, exactly, Chris. Be excellent to each other. My wife is 3 inches tall, but she's got the spunk, and she'll be the first one, and then me, I'm like, oh, here we go. So I'm like, but she'll be the first one. She'll jump off the car. She'll go in somebody's face. She's like, what are you doing? She's a big animal advocate as well, and
Right.
she won't tolerate any of that stuff.
Yeah. The animals don't deserve that.
No, they don't. They don't at all.
That's just what it comes down to it. People are just like, in general, they need to do better. We all need to do better.
Yeah, I think that's I think the world
we
needs
really do.
the world needs love. I think the world. I think there's been so much chaos and uncertainty with technology. It's disrupted humanity, and I think they just need something to bring people together, something positive that aligns people with values. We need values back in the U.S. We need to celebrate. I mean, the holidays used to
Oh,
be a
really?
special
Yeah.
thing. It became such an uncomfortable thing to celebrate the holidays when it used to be so special. Um, everything just changed. You had to
Well,
say Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas. It's just crazy.
right. When it comes down to it, I think the reality is, well, as a human race, we are always looking for the easy option. We're always doing that. We're all
Yeah.
guilty of trying to find the easiest option in life to make things just easy. And one of the easiest things to do is to be hateful. And I
Yes.
don't mean that everyone's like that, but it is just really easy to be hateful. It's easy to be jealous. It's easy to be angry. And it's easy to try and get people to support you in the hatred that you're trying to justify for yourself. And
Yeah.
if we can stop doing that, if we can actually just try and be a little bit more pleasant, as uncomfortable as it might feel to begin with, because we're so used to being angry and being hateful, it's definitely going to be a feeling of people stepping out of their comfort zone because of what we've been used to doing.
Yeah.
And I've been like, especially when I was younger, I was probably quite vengeful on some things. I'm definitely going to admit that I was probably way more feisty. So I'm not saying I'm innocent in any of, like, oh, I've never been hateful and I've never been angry. No, I've been terrible at times where I'm like, I've probably ruined some, like, maybe situations where a friendship could have been saved or something, but maybe I was too stubborn, or I was
Right.
just, and I think it's just, if we can stop doing that, I think we've probably got a better chance of being like a United States, for example, because that's what it's called, right? Or am I missing something?
Yeah. I think that's what it is. I think
Can we
if
agree to disagree on some things?
yeah, I mean, I remember I was traveling with one of my managers. I was visiting their market because at that time I was a regional, and we had a 2.5 hour drive. So we started talking politics, and we both had different points of views and different perspectives and different beliefs at the time. But the entire ride was extremely cordial and respectful, and we were both learning from each other's perspectives. And we both found ourselves interested in what the other side had to say. And it actually swayed my view on things based on that discussion. And had we not had that discussion, um, I probably wouldn't have changed my perspective, but it forced me to go and do some homework on my own and understand why, um, and validate what I was hearing, right? Because he provided a different viewpoint, and so I said, well, let me validate what I'm hearing here and see if there's any truth to this. And because of that, I thanked him, and he also thanked me. He goes, at first I thought we were going to have this conversation. I was a little nervous because the subject matter. He goes, but no, I mean, you're the first person that I had a conversation with a different opinion, that didn't make it personal. I said, because it should never be personal. You respect each other's point of view. You want to learn from each other. That's the best thing you can do is learn from each other, and then and move on. You can walk away still having a difference of opinion, but there could be mutual respect. And I think that's what society has to understand. Just because someone believes a certain way doesn't mean that they're the villain. But we make them out to be the enemy and we shut them down. And it's crazy. Oh, I lost her. I'm talking to myself. What happened? Hold on. I was talking to myself this whole time. Are you there?
No, I could hear you. I just couldn't respond. I was like, yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now because you felt like you dropped out. And
can
I
you
noticed
hear me?
that. Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
well, I could hear you the whole time because I can hear you. It cut out, and it was like my StreamYard crashed. So I just went back in, and so I could still hear you. But then I knew you couldn't hear me, and I just figured, well, you know what? Eventually you'll be waiting for me to respond, and you'll notice.
Yeah, that's what happened. I looked up, and I was like, wait, I'm talking to myself.
I was like, you'll eventually be like, is she just ignoring me? Or like, no, I was listening. I was still drawing here, but I was like, yeah, I'll just have to wait.
Yeah, but yeah, I get. I think respect each other's point of view. You don't have to agree, but you can respect each other.
Right. There's a lot of like right now I'm seeing a lot of anger online, and not everywhere, to be honest. And in all fairness, there's a lot of places where if you want to see it, you've really got to try, and you've got to actually hunt it out, right? So it's not just like constantly in my face. But for example, like Facebook, that has it will just let you see things it wants you to see. It'll be like, oh, guess what? I feel like you should see this. Because Facebook for me is like, it's really irritating in its delay time, because it will be thinking like, oh, okay, I think I need to show you this now, something that happened 5 days ago. And I'm like, really? 5 days ago? And I'm still not into the habit of clicking on that friends tab and scrolling through all of that, right? So I'm just seeing stuff that shows up 5 days after it's been posted. Like, oh yeah, I think you need to see this. So I'm still getting a lot of random stuff coming up. And I am getting a lot of posts from people who I'm friends with, and they're very angry. And I completely understand why. I don't tend to post anything to do with politics, because of just there's so many crazy people. And I'm not just saying like crazy people on one side or another. There's just crazy people that will really go to the extreme with whatever opinion that they have. And right now, because of what's happening, I'm seeing that there's a lot of people who are really, really upset, and I get it. But I feel like a lot of it is being unnecessarily fueled. Like there's some stuff where I'm like, oh, wow, they're responding to something that's not actually true. Right. And then someone else is responding to something that's not true. And I'm like, I'm like, this is really getting uncomfortable, because I want to say something, but then I just don't want to deal with like, they're going to start directing anger to me that you don't understand, or you haven't seen this. And I'm like, I don't want to have to deal with it. So I'm using that snooze button a lot on Facebook right now. Yeah. Because I don't want to get upset with people.
Yeah. The problem is there's a lot of like book smart people, but not wise people. Right? So what I mean is they are well versed in what they've selected to learn, but they are not wise enough to get the full scope of or the full context. And so they have a singular point of view, which leads them down a rabbit hole of resistance, anger. And I think what would serve society well is by doing your homework, listening to as many different perspectives, understanding both sides before you make your own decision. But people put their faith in people, and historically people fail people. And so I think
Right.
they got to put faith in themselves and do their own due diligence before they form an opinion and take a side, because for many of them they react, and sometimes it's too late, or they create more problems than it's worth. And I think there's got to be some way to reconcile that. And I think it goes back to being informed. I don't engage in any arguments unless I am close to a subject matter expert as possible. So I refrain from engaging in specific conversations, but I don't have the full story. And so I'll just bow out, and I will just politely excuse myself.
Right. Yeah, I don't like to get. I mean, if I've had like, I've been told things where I hear what someone's saying, or I'm reading what they want me to read, and I just think, yeah, but wait a minute, that just sounds too ridiculous. I need some more information before I even comment on that.
Yeah.
And I can't just go ahead because like maybe I have like sided with a particular person in the past that I'm automatically going to have to do that because of what they've posted or something. And I just can't. I just can't do that because I'm just so skeptical of everything that is out there right now.
Yeah. You know,
I just can't say, well, I'm just gonna believe that, or I'm gonna react to that. And maybe I'm just getting a little bit numb with everything right now, honestly. I could just be getting a little bit numb to it and being like, whatever. Because I'm not reacting as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
well,
all of it sounds kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think we all. I think everyone's getting numb to it, and that's also dangerous too. Because once you start getting numb to it, then it's almost as if then we lose empathy, we lose compassion, because everyone's just so tired of it all, right? And wants it all to go away, And it's
right.
That's also the scary part, right? So it's like, what's the happy medium? It's like, when does it just make sense? When does it just stop? I mean, when I grew up, sitcoms were family based, and it was true comedy. And it's today it's all about betrayal, adultery, death, murder, espionage, corruption, everything you see. So it's a whole different world than when we grew up. And what and it's constantly being fed into your brain. It's you don't need anybody. Be an independent woman. Be an independent this, and make it on your own terms. And your family doesn't understand, and so you start believing that. And then that's why there's so many lonely people and depressed people, because they've alienated the foundation that will always be there for them. The family is supposed to be the nucleus, and somehow
I mean, there's a lot of ways to look at that, to say, well, be an independent woman. I don't think there's anything wrong with being an independent woman, but I think if it's encouraging people to just not socialize and not maybe look for a relationship and not commit because they feel like that there goes your independence. I
Right.
don't think that's the best way to go. But I do think that, you know, being able to, being a female and being able to look after yourself, that is important. But we don't need to be getting, kind of like into a mindset of, well, I don't need a relationship, I don't need family, I don't need anybody. I
Right.
think it's just, I think people should just have opportunities as people, regardless to whether you're male or female, or whether or not whatever you're identifying as, it doesn't matter. As a human, let's just say, as a human, we should just be able to do what we feel we want to do. And I don't think that if that was a case, if we're able to just get on and do what we would like to do, I don't think that would include hatred and stubbornness and not wanting to be part of somebody else's life. You know, there are
Yeah, I
some
think.
women out there who be like, I don't want to be independent, and that's fine. I was I was married to a guy who was not independent at all as a man. He always needed to have a female looking after him. So, everyone's got their way of going about life. I just decided that, he probably needed somebody else who was willing to do that because I needed somebody with a stronger mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. I think when it goes from you don't need anybody in your life, I think that message is dangerous and toxic because at the end of the day,
Right.
we were born as social creatures needing each other. And then when you create this narrative that you don't need each other, that's when you create this world full of hate, anger, depression, anxiety, um, because we bought we drank the Kool Aid. Um, it's like I'm all for whatever it is you want to do, but I was raised to open the door. I was raised to pay the bill. I was raised to be that, but if the woman wants to work, she could, do what, that's fine. But I have
Right.
my my mom taught me to respect the woman. My mom told me to, say thank you and give your seat up on the bus, on the train, for a pregnant woman, an elderly woman, a disabled person. It's like those are the things that I pride myself in being able to do because I had a good mom and a good foundation to be able to understand that who taught me good values. But I mean, I ran into a colleague at a business function. When I went to open the door, I got yelled at for opening the door.
Right.
I was like, "What do you mean? I don't need a man to open a door for me." And I was like, "Wait, hold on. I was just being courteous." And but there was this chip on
Mm-hmm.
her shoulder about men. So, and I'm not a therapist and I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not there to try to figure that out. I was like, "Okay, well, I'm sorry, but that's just how I am." It meant no offense to it, and um,
Right.
and moved on. But there was this assumption that I saw her as incapable of opening the door herself, and that wasn't the case at all. But people come with those kinds of perspectives, and sometimes it
Right.
throws
And
you.
I mean, there's no need to react like that. Like, I'm not going to complain if somebody wants to open a door for me. I'm just going to say thank you. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to feel like the person thinks that I'm not capable of opening a door, because when it comes down to it, I've held a door open for other people. I've held doors open for men and women. In fact, one time I was at a gas station and I was walking towards the door, and some other this young woman was walking towards the door as well, and I just opened the door and I just stood and let her walk in first. I was like, just to be polite. The situation was it was just a more convenient really for me to just stand there and open the door and be like, after you. And then I walked in, and as I held the door open, she actually she said, "Thank you, sir." And I was like, all right. Okay,
Wow.
whatever. I
Wow.
just thought it was funny. And then I was thinking about it later on. I was like, why did she think I was a man? I was like, I wonder if she even looked at me. And then I looked at myself in the mirror, and I was like, well, I've got long hair. Some men have long hair, so maybe. And I was looking at my arms, and back then, I say back then, it wasn't that long ago. It was maybe like 7 years ago or something. I was able to do one arm push-ups, and so I was pretty muscly in my arms. So I had this like short sleeve t-shirt and jeans, and I think she thought I was just some kind of like heavy metal dude opening the door for her. I was like, whatever. It didn't bother me. I just thought it was funny. Like, what can you do? I'm not gonna cry myself to sleep over it. I think she was more interested in what was going on her phone, honestly.
Right.
But it didn't bother me. I wasn't bothered at all. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy.
But yeah, I used to be like, I was way more muscly back then. But then I had to stop with the muscle stuff because I was doing a lot of push-ups, and then I got glaucoma, and I was told that doing things like that was going to really increase the eye pressure, and it was possibly going to cause me to go blind. So I was like, well, there go the muscles.
Wow.
Keep the eyes, forego the muscles.
Wow. I
So
believe
yeah,
humans
I'm a
are evil.
weakling weighing a few pounds. No, I'm not really a weakling, but but yeah, I had to stop with the workouts. But yeah, I mean, I was starting to look like a dude apparently. What's that song? Aerosmith one. Dude looks like a lady, but just reverse it. But yeah, I didn't care. I didn't care.
Yeah. No, I mean, let's see. I think OK Monster says, I believe humans are evil. Yeah, humans are definitely special. Um, you know.
Yeah, I think well, the evil in the world does tend to come from humans. I can't think that animals are born and just start doing evil stuff. It's like humans just learn evil, and some people just enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know. And then some people it
Don't know if
doesn't
I
matter.
necessarily believe in.
Huh?
I was going to say I don't think I necessarily believe that some people are actually born evil, but I think it can be learned. I think we have like an evil streak in us potentially, but we learn to not do the evil things. Some people don't learn to not do that.
Yeah, I think some people, when they experience their first taste of something that's considered evil, some people get a thrill from it, and
Right.
they yearn for it, and so they just go that route. But I think that's why those first few years of birth is so critical, when you're born, because that's when you're being molded, and whatever's happening to you at that time, you're forming an opinion of life, and you are adapting to what's happening around you. Some people, um, just gravitate towards destruction, and it's scary.
It is.
you know
I'm sure I've
uh,
met some really evil people in my time.
yeah, I think we all have. They're all over. They're everywhere. And then some people just can't be reformed. Some people are so far gone. Doesn't matter what you do, they're not going, they don't, it's uncomfortable for them to change and be different. So they will stay doing what they're comfortable doing. And a lot of it's just evil and dark and it's a cruel, cruel world where we live in.
It is. It is. We've got to try hard to be nice. Like we were saying earlier, we just got to try harder as a human race. We really do need to just try harder.
Yeah. But there's a lot of beauty in this planet, and there's a lot of great things about this world. We just gotta do a better job of acknowledging it and embracing the positive. I think we put too much energy into toxic energy and not enough into positive energy. You know. But
well, speaking of energy, I'm starting to flag on some of my energy, and my cats. I'm speaking of don't neglect the cats, but
I just realized it's flowers.
I am hearing. Right, it's like I'm hearing my cats literally throwing themselves at the door.
Yeah, you and me both. I think I'm good. I'm good at where I am right now. With the flats, and I think we'll do a part 3. We'll schedule a part 3 where we.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way we're going right now is we're just gonna like show up on the lives when we can. We're just gonna be drawing this until the campaign and chatting and trying to put the world to rights. And if anyone in the chat has the solution to putting the world to rights, we'd be really glad to hear from you. So I mean, I should be available if you want to do a part 3, just continue on. And I mean, I enjoy doing this anyway. If you want to continue doing this even after the campaign's done for this, we can come up with more stuff.
Yeah, I actually like it because when I created the template for today and I put your name, Lou Pons, and I put the Art of Samuel, I was like, you know what? I think we need to make a road show and do live drawings. I think that'll be cool. But
I mean, why not? It's like it helps me to be a little bit more consistent with just doing random things and doing more loose stuff. I mean, this is really loose for me. I didn't even start with a really complete sketch or line work, and you can even see some of the like areas there. I still even haven't completely painted them. I just go so loose, and then I just go over everything until I feel like it looks better. Like the hair, it's just like it's loose strokes with a brush.
Yeah, definitely. No, I enjoyed tonight, and everybody who's watching on the back end, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Yoki Monster, and thank you, Christopher Loveless. And so you have a good night tonight. I'm gonna end this stream here. Hold on a second. Boom.